to the Comic Schtick Podcast, the podcast where comics are my shtick. That's my thing I've decided to do, and here we are. It's episode 4, and this is the first episode where you can also listen to the Comic Schtick Podcast without having to look at my face. It's like on Spotify and like maybe Apple or wherever the fuck you get podcasts at. I'm doing it through Podbean. That's what I did for my old podcast, The Cruising Altitude, and it's what seems to work pretty well, so I'll just keep doing it through there. So yeah, just search up Comic Schtick Podcast. Don't know what happened to my tongue. Look up the Comic Schtick Podcast, and you can listen to me as well. This week we got a lot to talk about, and by we I mean me. This is a very one-sided conversation I'm having here. Starting it right off, I'll just get right into it. I don't really have a whole lot of preamble or introduction to say. Today's topic is about the DC film delays and obscure DC characters that I love. But before we get to that, I have some other stuff I want to talk about. War on Earth 3, number 1. I'm going to talk about 3 comics that I read in the past week. 3 newish books. I think they're fairly new, within like the past week or so. War on Earth 3, like I said, it is all right. I haven't read the Suicide Squad series that is happening currently that led up to this event, so I don't really know how we got to this point where Amanda Waller is leading this giant army of multiversal villains or whatever she's doing, and for some reason she's decided to conquer Earth 3 for herself so she can like just live there, I guess. I was looking forward to it because I really like the Crime Syndicate. They're really fun characters, especially Owlman and Ultraman. Those are, they're the standouts, I feel, from that universe. But I don't know. There's something about their characterization in this that I just didn't like. It doesn't seem like the old Ultraman and Owlman. The ones I'm thinking of primarily are from the Grant Morrison story, where the Crime Syndicate comes back and appears. It felt like these were different versions of those characters. And I don't know, I didn't really care for it that much. I don't know if I'll pick up the second issue or however many issues there are going to be of this, because, like, it's not what I expected. Amanda Waller defeats the Crime Syndicate in the first issue. She defeats Power Ring and Owlman, and like Johnny Quick is on her side for some reason, and Ultraman's like, "You sided with her? Why?" And Johnny Quick is like, "Listen to her. She has a good reason." What does that mean? Is this leading into Dark Crisis in some way? Is it gonna be like, oh, she knows the multiverse is getting killed again, and fucking we're gonna be the first to die, because that's usually what it is for Earth 3 and the Crime Syndicate. They get fucked over quite often. But yeah, I don't know. It's an alright story. I got a variant cover, which is like a real sketchy Superman or Ultraman flying at you that looked great. That's about what I really liked for the most part. There's like a little sideline story that I assume ties into the Suicide Squad series, which is about Rick Flag leading another Suicide Squad team, which includes Peacemaker, obviously. Who else? Ambush Bug is there for some reason, which I'm always okay with Ambush Bug being there. I'll never complain about Ambush Bug being in a book. Who else is in that group of his? I can't remember. There's like 4 or 5 other villains in that group. 2 of which like get killed off in just this scene that they're in. But like they get teleported to another fucking universe and world, and they're fighting like this giant Clayface monster for some reason, and there's this woman who takes a serum that can turns her into sand or something. I have no idea what's happening. I didn't expect to come into this blindly. I didn't know this was what it was going to be about. But yeah, I guess I'll I'll wait and see if DC releases the Suicide Squad series as like a trade paperback or something and get it there. And then I'll revisit War on Earth, or was it War? Yeah, War on Earth 3? Fuck. Jesus. War on Earth 3, I think is what it's called. War on Earth 3, War for Earth 3. War on Earth 3 sounds right. Yeah, that's my feelings on that. It's all right. It's an all right book. Next, I read the beautiful Marvel Synergy series, What If Miles Morales Captain America #1, which I think does not imply that there are going to be continued Captain America Miles Morales issues. I think the #1 is the whole What If Miles Morales, because, spoiler alert, this is leading to a Miles multiverse event, like mini event, like goddamn Gwenverse or whatever that bullshit is. That is so fucking stupid. I'm so sick of all these goddamn variants. Now they're doing fucking the Jessica Jones from the multiverse, and they already got the Dr. Ock from the multiverse. And oh my god, when are the Tony Starks of the multiverse gonna come together and form a multiversal AA club? I'd read that. Yeah, the Morales verse, the multi-Miles, the multi-Moraleses. It's this one, the Captain America. I don't know what order these are in. It's revealed at the very end of the book that, like, this is what they're doing. It's Miles as Cap, Miles as Wolverine, Miles as Thor, Miles as Hulk, and maybe regular Spider-Man Miles. He was, like, seen in a little flash when Cap Miles sees, like, the multiverse of Mileses. In terms of the story itself, it's, again, alright. You're probably going to hear this a lot from me, especially when I'm reading more, like, comics that are coming out on a monthly basis like this, just because I don't really read a lot of them because I'm not interested in them. I thought this was a fun idea, I guess. I wanted to see what they were going for here. So, they piqued my interest that way. But it's more of a sick interest, like the kind of sick interest you get when you watch a car crash or something. I wanted to see what happened. Miles, it's set in present day, is how I should start this off. It's present day in this some other universe that's never going to get a number or designation. It's on the Marvel wiki. It's always going to be TRN, blah, blah, blah. Which, because I'm a fucking nerd who reads the Marvel fandom wiki, stands for Temporary Reality Number. Anyway, it starts in modern day, and Miles and his father and his family, he's a military brat, essentially. His dad's in the military, his Uncle Aaron's in the military. They work together on, like, a base somewhere. I don't know, I can't remember what it is they do. I think they're both working on, like, another super soldier serum project, because in this universe, Cap doesn't die when he, crashes the plane or gets frozen or whatever. In this universe, he blows up in a castle, sabotaging a Nazi attack or something. And so he's just dead. He is long dead. He died in like 1944 or something. And his memory has survived, and it inspires people like Miles. And whatever that means, I guess, he wants to be, he's like a good person, essentially. Blah, blah, blah. Stuff happens a little bit. We see, like, the little bit of life to Miles on the military base, how he interacts with his dad and his uncle, and blah, blah. His uncle steals a experimental super soldier serum, and he hides it in his refrigerator in his, like, barracks, or in his, like, on-base home or something. And one day Miles comes over when Aaron's gone, and he opens the fridge. He's like, dang, you got something to drink? Blah, blah, blah. Something I had to come over here. And he fucking finds a strange container of some sort of liquid, and I guess he just assumes it's like a Gatorade or something, because he chugs that shit right down. And for some reason, this super soldier serum emits mist, like a purplish mist, like a pinkish purple mist. And Aaron comes home, And he's like, what the fuck? Oh my god, they discovered my serum. They opened it, they broke it or something. He draws his gun, he smashes his way in. And Miles, who was a teenager, is now a fully grown man with the physique of a black Chris Evans. And he's like, Uncle Aaron, what's happening? And then it just smash cuts to a montage of him being trained by Aaron to be a super soldier. Because the part that this comic really steps over and doesn't talk about that much is that Miles is still a teenager. There's no way he's over the age of like 17 or 18. He just grows up to be a giant muscular man and is then drafted into the US government as their new Captain America. So it cuts to like a couple years later, I think, and Miles has been trained and he's Cap now, and he has his suit that kind of looks like the suit when Bucky was Cap. It has like the V going down the chest, and it's like dark blue and black and like a little bit of red, like it's trying to be the Miles Spider-Man suit or something. It's an alright design. It's better than the variant cover design, which is literally just a red, white, and blue Spider-Man suit. But it's revealed that alongside Captain America, there's also the Falcon, or I think her name's just the Falcon. I can't remember if she's like an actual character from any other universe or not. I can't remember her name. It's Tiana or Tatiana, something like that. But she's Falcon. I thought it was going to be like Samantha Wilson or something, like a gender-flipped Sam Wilson, who is normally Falcon in the normal universe. But no, they did something even better. Because in this comic, Sam Wilson is the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., and he looks just like Nick Fury did in the Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon, where he's the black guy, but he has the comic book Nick Fury, like, trademark hair, where it's the black on top and like the gray on the sides and the big eye patch, and he's like a chain smoker or something. It's a fun idea. I enjoyed that Sam Wilson was the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. But yeah, they're sent on a mission. Miles, his uncle, Falcon, they all go. I think it's either when they're on their way there or on their way back, leaving. They're shot at, and Uncle Aaron, who Miles calls him nothing else but, falls out of the jet. Or like it's like a helicopter, like a Quinjet or something, like a transport shuttle thing. He's blown out of there. And Miles, like I said, keeps calling him Uncle Aaron, like that's his legal name. Because when he's like, Uncle Aaron, hold on! Uncle Aaron! Uncle Aaron, no! And then he's gone. And I bet you don't see where this is going, because halfway through the book, we're introduced to a masked mystery character called the Prowler, who is working with, get this, the Gray Skull. I guess there wasn't a Red Skull in this universe. It's what it seems like, that nobody ever makes any allusions to a Red Skull at all. But the Gray Skull was a former AIM scientist who took a experimental super soldier serum. It's the Red Skull. It's the Red Skull. He takes a shitty super soldier serum, becomes a Skull Man. But the reason he's called the Gray Skull is because that man apparently was an albino. And he is also normally known by Tombstone. That's right. Tombstone, in this universe, is a Skull Man. Like a giant hulking, or not hulking, he's just a really big bulky guy who wears like a military commander uniform, who has a skull face. I feel like Tombstone still would have fit. Gray Skull's alright. So he is working with Genki, who in the Ultimate Universe is, or was, I should say, was Miles Morales' best friend. He's who Ned Leeds in the Spider-Man films is based off of. He is the Tinkerer in this universe, who's like in the normal universe, he's a guy who makes shit for supervillains. In this one, he's like a scientist that the Gray Skull kidnapped and is forcing... Now that I think about it, it's just the plot line to Into the Spider-Verse. Because the Gray Skull's whole ordeal is that he has a cosmic cube, because why wouldn't he? He's a skull man, and he wants to put that in a machine to... Oh, God, it's so dumb. I just remembered. So his plan is to take the cosmic cube, right? Take the cosmic cube, put it in this machine, open a portal to another universe. Why is he doing this? So he... Not to conquer. He might want to conquer here and there. But his primary goal of traveling the multiverse is to purloin weapons and technology from other dimensions, bring it back to his dimension, and sell it to the highest bidder. His whole scheme, the villain of this book, his whole scheme is just a get-rich-quick scheme. That's what he's doing. That's what he's working towards. Obviously, it doesn't work. Miles and or Captain America and Falcon show up. They fight. The Prowler shows up. He fights the girl, Tatiana, whatever, the Falcon, and he like disarms her. And he has like this weird monologue that doesn't make sense. It's just like the writer trying to be like, "Oh, who is the Prowler? Oh, you think you know who it is?" It's like, yes, I know who the Winter Soldier is. I know who the Prowler is. I get what you're going for here, man. Because he makes like a dramatic ripoff of the mask, and it's Uncle Aaron, who was jealous of Miles for becoming Captain America, because Miles is the only person that the serum has worked on, and Uncle Aaron was like, see, even I'm doing it, even I'm calling him Uncle Aaron. He was like, no, it should have worked on me. It's never made clear, really, if he stole that serum as some sort of Dennis Nedry-esque plan where he was going to sell it to AIM, maybe, or like the Grey Skull, or if he was just stealing it to use it on himself. But yeah, and then they're just having this like dumb heart-to-heart conversation, kind of. It's not really emotionally appealing at all. It's just sort of what is happening. And like, Uncle Aaron's like, I'm sorry, Miles, I was jealous of you. And Miles is like, it's okay, Uncle Aaron, I forgive you. Let's fight the Grey Skull. And so they do. And they fight the Grey Skull, and the machine is damaged, and it's activated right as, like, it gets damaged. And the portal opens up, and everybody freaks out, and I can't remember what happens to Grey Skull. He either dies or he gets sucked through it or something. But Miles is like, there's only one way we can turn this machine off. Boom! Smashes it with his shield. Just smashes the cosmic cube. And then he like sees ripples through the multiverse. Like I said before, he sees the Miles Morales who's Wolverine for some reason. He sees the Miles who's Thor for some reason. He sees Miles as Hulk and Spider-Man. And he's like, what does this mean? And then the book ends. They all leave. Happy ending. And then, the post-credits scene is... I honestly can't remember if it's Prowler or Grey Skull, but one of them shows up later after, like, the scene has been cleared and it's rubble everywhere. Oh, and Genki is now, like, their friend or whatever. He's gonna be, imprisoned as a scientist for S.H.I.E.L.D. or something. It's like Operation Paperclip. So anyway, the villain, Prowler or Grey Skull, probably Grey Skull, he shows up and he grabs a little piece of the cosmic cube that was broken off, and he's like, yes, now I have the power of Grey Skull. He doesn't actually say that, but it's the gist. And then it ends, and it's like, whoa, hey, that was a crazy story. Why don't you stick around to see where this goes? It's a Miles event. It's a mini multiversal Miles event. And I am not going to read the rest of them. At least I don't think so. Maybe I will just to make fun of them. Because I didn't like this at all. I thought it was dumb. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But the final comic that I read, which is the best one, is Radio Spaceman Mission to Numa #1. I think it's called Numa 4 or something like that. It's some alien planet. And it's written by Mike Mignola. Oh, God, I can't remember who does the art, but it's great art. Probably should have looked that up beforehand. But it is such a fantastic story. It's so much fun. There's so many crazy concepts introduced. I just wish it was longer. It felt way too short. It was only like maybe 18 pages, and then the rest was just ads for Dark Horse comics. The premise is that it's in some fantastical universe, as all Mignola stories are. There's this old man on like this giant space station or something, and he's contacted that Radio Spaceman needs to go in to Numa 4 to retrieve something. And so he walks into this big control center, and there's all these like robots that are like automatons, and he clicks them all on, and he plugs this thing into his chest, and he can like remote control the Radio Spaceman in his little shuttle, and he like shoots him out into space and goes to this planet. Which is such a fun concept. It's kind of like it's almost like Amazing Screw-On Head, but in space, and not a screw-on head. But he goes to this planet, he finds this crashed ship, and he has to recover this scientist that was there, but she's missing. She was kidnapped by another scientist who was also aboard the ship, who caused it to crash because, like, he went insane or something. And so Radio Spaceman fights some space bears. Those aren't like fancy bears that are from a space planet. Those are bears who pilot ships and wear little outfits and shoot guns and can talk. It's like Commandi or something. But he fights them, like they track him through space and follow him to the planet, and he fights them, and then he leaves the wrecked shuttle of the people he's supposed to retrieve. And he tracks him through the planet to like a nearby cavern where there's all these like these tribal frogmen who obviously they worship some sort of eldritch being who has driven the other scientist man crazy, and he is the scientist man. I don't think they ever get names. He is now going to sacrifice the woman scientist to this great god as its bride. And Radio Spaceman gets there and he starts fighting them. And then on the ship, there is a casket containing a space vampire. There's no other way to put this. It's a vampire from space. It goes out, it kills the remaining bears that are like picking themselves up from getting their ass kicked, and flies away as like a albino white bat. And it's like, stay tuned for more Radio Spaceman. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? That's it? That's where it ends? Like, goddamn. I don't know I just don't understand why it was so short. Is it Mignola trying to like spread this story over too many issues or something? Is it supposed to elicit feelings of like the old film sci-fi serials like Flash Gordon and everything that would like play before an actual movie in a movie theater or something, where it's like it's just little snippets here and there, like little chunks? Is that what he's going for? Like, that's my major criticism with this book. I love the story. It is so much fun. It's just wacky Mignola ideas in space this time. And freaking Mike Mignola's churning shit out. He has like 3 Hellboy stories going on right now. It's too short. It's way too short. And I am definitely going to keep buying the issues. I don't know if I'll buy like a trade paperback or something of it, unless it like has supplementary information and stuff in it. But I want to see where this goes. This is a great story. I highly recommend it. It's Mike Mignola and artist. I'll put it in the comments or on the video if I remember. But yeah, definitely pick up Radio Spaceman Mission to Numa. If I had to rank these 3, that one's number 1. This gets hard in the next one. Miles Morales, Captain America number 1 comes in 2nd, and War on Earth 3 is in 3rd. Like I said, Warner 3, it wasn't what I expected. I felt it did the characters dirty. And, like, I know the Crime Syndicate, they're, like, just weird, like, parody, villainous characters, but, like, they just come off, all of them are so stupid in this, is my big issue. They're all so dumb. But yeah, that's my comic books that I've been reading. Let's move right on to the next topic, because I got 3 trailers to talk about. God damn, there's the Obi-Wan teaser trailer, which I'll say right now, it looks incredible. It's fucking fantastic. As soon as I heard the Duel of the Fates, I got fucking shivers down my spine and chills and goose pimples and everything. Ewan McGregor looks great. He has like the slick long back hair like he usually does. I don't know why I said usually. He only had that in one movie. The Grand Inquisitor looks weird, which I'm definitely not the first to point that out. I don't know why they don't just elongate his head in post. Like, you don't even have to have the fucking Dan Aykroyd cone head prop on his head while it's filming. They didn't even put Paul Bettany in makeup for all of WandaVision. They did, like, pretty much all of that in post-production. They did all the ear things, they did the lines on his face, they did all of that for a TV show. Why can't they just give this guy a long head, like we've already seen his species has? Why is he so squat? He looks like he's been shrunk. There's the whatever number sister she's gonna be, the Inquisitor, who is hunting down Obi-Wan, and it seems like, at least like one scene in like a cantina or a bar or something, I think we see Owen like in a shootout with her or something, like he's dodging blaster shots. So I feel like with the emphasis that Uncle Owen, what is his last name? Is it Shmi? Owen Shmi? Owen Lars. Shmi is the first name of Anakin's mom. Owen Lars, I feel like with the emphasis we see on him in this trailer, that he is, like, gonna be helping Obi-Wan in some way. Obi's gonna come to him and, like, ask for help or something. They're gonna, like, team up together for whatever reason. Begrudgingly, I imagine, because I don't think Owen's really too fond of Obi-Wan that much. Or maybe this show and the events in this show, I feel like, is why he is so against crazy old Ben Kenobi up in the hills. Like, something happens in here, like his livelihood gets ruined or something. Maybe his business gets ruined. I don't know. Something happens that causes a rift between them, even more so than there already is, because, like, they barely know each other anyway. Although it has been about, like, 7 or 8 years, maybe. I don't know how old Luke is in this. I think it's like 8 years after Revenge of the Sith. So who knows what their relationship is like, but I feel like something in the show is going to happen that causes Ben to, like, tell Obi-Wan to just fuck off and never come back. It's probably going to have something to do with the Inquisitors and the hunting of the Jedi or something like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. We see the seventh brother, 8th brother, something, I can't remember. He's the guy from Star Wars Rebels. Get to see him in live action. That's cool. And then there's that planet. I can't remember. It's like Dio or something like that. It just looks like Coruscant. It looks like, I can't remember what it was, but there was going to be like a live action Star Wars show that was going to use like virtual reality. Like, it would all be filmed on green screen, and the camera would be able to film it on a virtual environment. And if you see the clips online, I can't think of what the hell this show was going to be called. It was like Star Wars Underworlds or Crime somethings, something like that. Coruscant Underworld, whatever. It looks very similar to what we were seeing on there. Like, it was the grungy neon stormtroopers walking through like crowds of like ravers. So that's interesting. That, I don't know, it just feels weird that, I don't know where I'm going with this. What I'm trying to say is that it feels a lot like the lower levels of Coruscant, but it's not. Apparently it's some new planet. I guess it makes sense in the long run. of, you don't want Obi-Wan to go back to Coruscant because that's the capital of the Empire, so that's a bit too much. But if we take him to this other planet over here that is a giant city planet, I can't remember what the name of that is, it's like Encomopulus or something, then that's fine. We can have fucking, like, rooftop chases. You can't do that on Coruscant unless you're really high up. Get, like, grungy night scenes, Obi-Wan fucking hanging out outside of rave clubs or whatever he's doing. So, yeah. I'm just trying to remember more stuff that happens. It's been a while since I watched it. I am looking forward to it. Like I said when I was discussing the Peacemaker show, and, like, the Disney Plus shows, I love this stuff. I've liked everything that's come out. There hasn't been a single Disney Plus show that I'm like, oh, this is terrible. What is wrong with this? Oh my God, they're so stupid. They're ruining the character. Just fun. It's fun shows that, bring me joy. I like to see this stuff in real life. I like to see it come to life on the screen. I like to see the actors be able to portray these characters. Especially Ewan McGregor, because fucking goddamn, he's a good Obi-Wan. And he loves it. He loves this shit. Especially, there's the stories of him forgetting to stop making the lightsaber sounds when he was on set for basically all three of the prequels. And I think his uncle, was it his uncle or someone who was in A New Hope? I can't remember who he played. It was one of the X-Wing pilots. So yeah, this is clearly something that he's probably been looking forward to for quite some time, to getting to come back as Obi-Wan. And I am also looking forward to that. So I am quite excited for that. Next is The Boys Season 3. I barely remember anything about The Boys Season 2 because it came out about probably 2 or almost 3 years ago. Pre-pandemic. It ended with... How did it end? I was just talking about this earlier with somebody. It ended with Butcher's wife being killed by her and Homelander's illegitimate son. And the son has powers, and he gets taken away. But I guess that's not going to last very long because we see him in the trailer. Yeah, what is happening in this trailer? The only thing I can think of that really stuck out to me is A-Train doing the stopping of protesters and police from attacking each other, like, with his energy drink, like Kylie Jenner or Kendall Jenner, whichever one it was. I think it was Kendall. That caught me off guard. That's a good gag. I can't remember if it is or not, but I think his costume has been rebranded as, like, the rainbow colors, like a gay pride flag. So I'm thinking that they take the storyline from the first volume of The Boys, where one of the, like, Teen Titans characters has to, like, fake come out as gay to, like, win back the public's support for their team, their shitty little team. So I think A-Train's going to be the one that has to do that, and the best way to do that is to make his whole uniform a rainbow flag. Just like what happens every, what is it, July? June? When is Gay Pride Month? I think it's July. It's one of the J months. Like, every corporation puts it on their, like, logos and everything, so it's clearly it's making fun of that. Other things to look forward to, the boys are finally getting Compound V, so that's going to be cool. I've been waiting for him to do that. It makes sense to do the build-up, because, in the comics, they just go straight. The comics are just, hey, look, it's the Teen Titans, let's kick their ass. Hey, look, it's Batman, let's kick his ass. Hey, look, it's the X-Men and they're pedophiles, let's kick their ass. It's just that over and over again. There's very little, like, overarching story. But in the show, they're able to, build upon this and everything. So I do like that they did build up to the Compound V stuff. There was the whole, I think, like, half of the second season was, like, Compound V storyline or something. I'm not going to bother rewatching it. There'll be a recap for season 3, episode 1 of everything I need to know. What else? Soldier Boy is going to be in it, and he has a tiny little mask. And I like that he's like a sort of Iraqi, Middle Eastern inspired U.S. Army soldier. Like he has the big scarf around his neck and like the sort of camouflage tannish outfit and everything. What is it? Ansel Eckhart or something like that, I think, is playing him. So that's going to be interesting to see, especially if he has a relation and rapport with Starlight. I'm pretty sure, was it Soldier Boy or was it like Drummer Boy or something? I can't remember. But I don't know. I feel like they'll have some sort of rapport because if I remember correctly, they dated in the comics when they were on like the fucking NRA sponsored Young Heroes team or something. Yeah, and it's gonna be gory. It's gonna be crude. It's gonna be crass. Fucking the Deep is gonna be shit on again and again. He's fucking a woman and he's getting off to an octopus. So, it's more weird stuff to look forward to in The Boys Season 3. And finally, the Miss Marvel trailer, which I know I've talked to people already who are complaining and bitching about the fact that they did change her powers. She is seemingly not an Inhuman because the Inhumans show ruined Inhumans for the entirety of the MCU, which is so goddamn funny to me. I don't care, honestly, that she's not an Inhuman. The only interesting things that Marvel have done with the Inhumans since Jack Kirby stopped writing them, since Jack Kirby stopped working on them, has been, 1, Quicksilver becoming a cuckold when his wife Crystal cheats on him with like a real estate agent or something. 2, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's a great way that's a great Inhumans, storyline and everything. Season 2, it's pretty boring, but it's fun to see all the Inhumans. And 3, Kamala Khan. So in the past, 50, 60 years, I feel like there's only 3 standout things, and one of them's a guy getting cheated on by his Inhuman wife. So I don't care that she's not an Inhuman. They can easily say she is, and that's like, her magical cosmic bangles or whatever it is she has, her bracelets. They enhance her powers or something. Who knows? I think it looks so much fun. It looks like a blast. It looks like a great coming-of-age film. It's fantastic that, Marvel or Disney at one time, or Disney on this side, is funding anti-gay and LGBTQA plus all the other stuff politicians, and on this side, they're making, like, stories that people who aren't in the mainstream are able to relate to. Kamala Khan, she is a young teenage girl who is she Muslim? I think she's Muslim. I'll be honest, I never read Kamala Khan. I'm vaguely familiar with her. I know she's Miss Marvel. I know she's obsessed with Captain Marvel. She gets her powers. I'm pretty sure she's Muslim. If not, please correct me in the comments. And I think that's so great that they're finally doing that. Because goddamn, if like Perlmutter was still in charge, you bet your ass you wouldn't get that. I'm looking forward to seeing how excited and happy viewers of this show who don't see themselves in big mainstream shows and movies like this will be when, they can relate to this. Tweens or whatever. I saw people complaining, Marvel's making a show for tweens. It's like, yeah, what is your problem, people? Here's the thing. Not everything's gonna be for you. Not everything you're gonna like. I should know. I just talked for about 20 or 30 minutes on 2 things I didn't like. But just... It's the old saying, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it. Which I know, coming from me, is the fish calling the horse dark. I don't know what that means. You know, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just getting so annoyed about all these people. Oh my god, they gave her Green Lantern powers? What the fuck? Her fists, they don't get big. They don't actually get big because it's just a construct of energy. It's just, goddamn, guys, settle down. It's really what I want to say. It's just settle down about it. Just relax. It's a show. It's a show that is going to follow the same outline as every other show that involves a superhero character, in that she's, especially one that's just starting out, she's going to get her powers. It's going to be like an episode 1 at the very end, or episode 2 at the very beginning. She's going to get her powers. She's going to discover the magical bracelets, maybe. And she's probably going to hide them away again or something. Or she'll start messing with them like Shazam, and like messing with her powers, training herself, blah, blah, blah. And she's going to be a kid, and there's going to be like coming of age moments, and it's going to be about like her turmoil of how she sees herself, and how she is, you know, she loves the culture of superheroes, and like her parents probably don't like that. They're like, I don't know what it's like in the comments, but like in the comics, but her parents are probably going to be like too controlling or something. And, you know, it's about Kamala becoming who she really is and finding herself. I'm sort of just basically reiterating the synopsis of Pixar's Turning Red, which is a fantastic movie about coming of age, and a great story about a teenage girl having to deal with changes in her life, and coming to terms with the fact that she doesn't have to be who her parents want her to be. She can be her own person. Oh, my dog just sneezed. And I think that's going to be so great. I am so excited. I hope that, you know, it's obviously going to do well. I feel like every time a Disney Plus show comes out and it's a Marvel or Star Wars related, every goddamn time they're like, this show is the highest viewed show on Disney Plus so far. They did it with WandaVision. It's the first one, so obviously. Then they did it with Loki, and then fucking Falcon and Winter Soldier. Every time they're like, it's the highest viewed show. But I hope that this gets really good reception, and I know it. I imagine it will. I know it will. It's a Marvel show. Everybody knows Marvel. Right now, the fucking speculators are buying up. God damn, my nose is so itchy. It's like I have a hair stuck on it or something. Every speculator is selling their Captain Marvel, or not Captain Marvel, their Miss Marvel #1 slabbed and graded and signed by someone who vaguely had something to do with the book on fucking eBay and wherever. They're auctioning them off. They're selling the Miss Marvel toys. And it's going to be the same thing as it always is. The episodes are going to come out. There's going to be memes. There's going to be people talking about it. There's going to be people who like it. There's going to be people who fucking hate it. Something I didn't really think about until I just said that is I am not looking forward to all of the shitty right-wing comic YouTubers, which there's such a weird amount of, on YouTube, just shitting all over this poor girl. Oh God, I hope that she can just make it like through this mentally unscathed, because goddamn, I haven't seen any of it. I don't want to see any of it, but I imagine there's gonna be so many people. I can't remember what the girl's name is who plays Kamala in the show, but oh my God, there's gonna be people just fucking harassing her so much. I bet there already is. And it's, in a way, it's showing, especially if, you know, when she's coming back, because she is coming back. There is The Marvels film, which clearly it's going to have Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and Monica Rambeau, because they're all the Marvels. like, I don't know. If anything, it'll make her stronger, is what I'm saying. It'll imbue her with the strength of Kamala Khan herself for overcoming this adversity from her diversity. Now I'm just sort of getting into poetry and slam poetry, but yeah, I think it looks so much fun. The what's the guy's name? The Weeknd is his name. And is it Blinding Lights? I don't know. I'm an old goddamn man who doesn't follow new music and whatever. I don't know. I always have to ask my my fiance what music is popular because she always listens to it all. My fiance of 15 years, that's her age, by the way. She's always staying up to date with all the new music, so I'm pretty sure the song is Blinding Lights because she does play that a lot when we're driving around. Of course, I'm there to be her. Where am I going? Why am I making these jokes that I'm a pedophile? Oh yeah, it's because I'm a YouTuber. I guess we all have to be that. I don't know where this is coming from. This is a really weird episode. I am just going off. I think it's just because I'm so upset about people shitting on the Captain Marvel trailer. Other things that I want to talk about Captain Marvel is that I really hope that they take... Well, no, let me rephrase this. I really hope that the effect that they use in this trailer, which is like a sort of Napoleon Dynamite-esque, like notebook drawing hand animation, like, you know, where it's like the word balloons and like the little pictures and effects. I want that to be in the show. I hope that is not just something that they did for the trailer, because that it would be so fucking creative and so new. Because, like, you know, Kamala in the comics, she's like obsessed with Captain Marvel and she's writing fan fiction and shit. And she's probably like drawn pictures of her and she's like drawn pictures of herself as a superhero. So I don't know. I hope that like in the show, Kamala, she is like, you know, she's always doodling in her notebook, always writing stories or something. And we see those effects overlaid on the live action show itself. Just that would be such a great way to make it stand out from all the other shows, is by adding this. I feel like getting that experimental is a good thing, especially since there are rumors that She-Hulk in her show will be breaking the fourth wall. So why not start easing the audience of these shows into the more experimental realm of like these weird effects and like different sort of character quirks than here in this one. We're going to have Moon Knight, and it's probably going to be really weird because, you know, it's Moon Knight. We're going to get Miss Marvel in June, I think. And you can have her be like the drawing, like, you know, the handcrafts girl, whatever. I don't know what I was saying before. And then you have She-Hulk, and her whole thing is that she breaks the fourth wall. Like, just make these shows stand out a little more than they already are. Make them feel different. Make them feel unique. What else is in the trailer? She gets her giant hand, and it's like energy or something. She's like Quasar is a lot of the thing I see a lot of people commenting on. It's like Phi Lavelle or whatever normal Quasar is called. And she has like the bands or whatever. And people are getting pissed off because apparently everybody suddenly loves Quasar. What else is there? I still don't understand. I don't know who who the villains are going to be. I haven't really read a whole lot of like leaks or rumors about the villains of this show. So I don't know what's going on there in terms of like the plot or who she's going to fight. Maybe AIM or something. I don't know. That's who she fights in the video game, right? Yeah, I'm looking forward to also seeing the supplementary like world building, because, you know, she has the Avengers and Captain Marvel t-shirt. She's doing all like, she has the posters and shit, and I love seeing that because that makes it feel like a real world, like, you know, all the merchandise essentially. It makes it feel real. It makes it feel lived in. And especially, like, you know, after 5 years after the blip, Captain Marvel's coming and going, so people get used to her. They start selling her merchandise. and Kamala becomes obsessed with her. I just really like that. That's why I loved the the Rogers musical in Hawkeye, is because it isn't that these characters are just in the real world. It's that these characters are in their real world, and they have an effect on that world. It's not like, I don't know, it's not like Nolan's Batman, where it's just Batman in Chicago. It's Hawkeye in the Avengers New York. It breathes life into this world by including these things, these like quirky little like ads or like brand endorsements or something like buy the Captain America fan shield or something. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited. I'm hyped for this show. It just looks like a lot of fun. And I'm probably going to cry during it because I imagine there's going to be some sort of emotional thing that happens. And I feel like I cry during every show. But yeah, now I'm finally going to be moving on to talking a little bit about DC's new film release dates. I was really looking forward to The Flash. I was very excited about The Flash. And I'm not saying that ironically. I unironically want The Flash to come out. I want to see that movie. I want to see Michael Keaton. I want to see 2 Ezra Millers. I want to see whoever the villain is. I want to see Superwoman, Supergirl, whoever she is. I want to see it, goddammit. And now it has been pushed back until July of 2023, according to this this list that I found online. It is, god damn it, why? Why does this keep happening? Why couldn't they have just brought it out? What happened to 2022 being the year of DC or whatever? Because now all they got is Black Adam, which I think is staying in October. Black Adam apparently comes out October 21st, 2022. DC League of Super Pets with my favorite actor, The Rock. Also, he's in both of those goddamn movies. It comes out in July. I don't like The Rock. I don't think he's a good actor. He is not a good actor at all. He is like bottom rung of the wrestlers turned actors ladder. It goes from just off the top of my head of all the wrestlers turned actors I can think of. Dave Bautista, he is fucking like masterclass. I don't know, John Cena. Who else? Roddy Piper. I don't know. No. Actually, Bautista on top. John Cena. Andre the Giant. Roddy Piper. Who else is there? China. She was in some porn movies. And then all the way down at the bottom, very bottom, like a rock would be, is The Rock. He's a terrible actor. He really is. I don't like him. I think he bores me so much. And I hope he does something different for Black Adam other than just being The Rock with pointy ears. Is he going to have the pointy ears? I don't remember. He better. But anyway, so Black Adam is going to be in October. And for some reason, Shazam 2 got pushed up to December. I don't know why. I think they shifted around maybe Shazam and Flash, or maybe Shazam and Aquaman. But Shazam 2 is now a December movie, which makes me wonder if the Shazam movies are going to be Christmas themed. Because the first one came out in like April, and it was Christmas. So either this means that it's coming out around Christmas, and it's a Christmas movie, or it's coming around about Christmas, and it's a 4th of July movie. Other than that, Batgirl is still sort of up in the air as to when that starts. I think that's an HBO Max series, or is that a movie? I don't remember. It might still be December of this year, of 2022, but God knows who or when that'll come out. That's, what is her name? I can't remember her name. She was in The Heights. that's just I want to know when that show comes out, because I'm really looking forward to that one too. Aquaman 2 got pushed back to March of 2023 for some reason. I don't remember when it was initially, but it was sometime this year. So that's a disappointment as well. I don't know why. I haven't read anything aside from when these got shifted around and all the delays happened. I can't imagine it has something to do with, I don't know. Could it be COVID related? I don't know. It's so weird that they moved those two movies back a whole year. Like, that wouldn't have been as weird if they had done that. But then they moved Shazam up a year. Maybe they wanted to have Shazam and Black Adam be so close together because they're such related characters. And like they're sort of just like, do whatever else with the other ones. But I don't know. I'm just full of disappointment at this. See, I wanted to talk about that a little bit. I didn't really have much to say other than to just, I don't know, bring it to anybody's attention who wasn't aware. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is now time to get to a topic that I have postponed for 3 weeks. And that is obscure DC characters that I love. As I've said before, I really don't read a whole lot of contemporary comics. I read mostly older comics. Silver Age comics are my favorite era of comic books. I love the hokey demeanor and writing of it. You'll read like an old Jack Kirby book that he's written and illustrated, and it'll be just hokey dialogue. I just love that so much. There's so many crazy ideas going on from that era. It's just ridiculous comics that are really fun. But there's also a couple, well, actually now that I look at it, and it's this list that I have, it's mostly Silver Age, but there's a little bit strung about here and there. So let me just get right into it by talking about a character I discovered quite recently, actually. I'd never heard of this man before I saw the Comic Pop video on DC's Bloodlines event. And that man is called Gunfire. Gunfire. Created by Len Wein and Steve Irwin. And apparently he's killed in the Heroes in Crisis event, but who gives a shit about that? Not this guy. So Gunfire is he's such an incredible character. I love him. It's a ridiculous concept. Whatever happens in DC Bloodlines happens, and this man, whose name I cannot remember, but he is a ponytailed, redheaded CEO of he's like Bruce Wayne, but he's a redhead with long hair, and he's sort of a nerd. He gets a power to, if anything he grabs, if he focuses his energy or something, it's never explained how his powers work. If he grabs something, he can de-atomize it and shoot those atoms out as bullets, essentially. They do the same effect as bullets. He's de-atomizing things and turning it into a weapon. So he can use anything as a gun, is basically what it boils down to. It's such a funny series. It's 13 issues, but that still feels too short. I really wish it continued. I have all those issues. I loved reading them. It's just such a weird concept. Like I said, he shoots stuff. That's all he does. That's why he's called Gunfire. And the weird thing is that he has an inner turmoil in himself over killing. Because he's like, I have this power. I guess I have a responsibility to be a good person and use it properly. So he sort of does vigilante work, but more or less he's trying to solve this weird mystery involving his aunt or his mother and his dead father. I think it's his aunt. And that just goes crazy. There's so much weird shit happening. One of the villains he fights is a guy that he atomized, and the guy's exploded body was collected, and all that was left was the brain and the eyes and a couple organs here and there and the nervous system, and it's kept in this giant tank to brew together until it, like, the brain reignites and he becomes conscious again, and he freaks out, but he's in this tank, and so it's just like eyes looking around all crazy like, and this brain floating around. And then they like mold a fake flesh body for him, but it's still like kind of translucent, so he's just this disgusting like anatomy assignment gone wrong, walking around trying to kill Gunfire. And I should point out, the villain who does this is Gunfire's aunt. She's the primary antagonist of this book. She's the reason all these villains are attacking, because, like, she wants control of the company because her brother didn't give it to her. He gave it to his son before he died, and she wants it back, so she's trying to kill him to, like, it's the inheritance storyline that you always see. But Gunfire, in, like, the first 4 or 5 issues, maybe, I feel like it's the first 4 issues, he encounters 2 villains, 2 of which he kills. Brutally. The first villain is like a mercenary or something. I don't remember what his name is. He's not important. Neither of them are, because they die. But the guy, I wish I could remember the character's name. He's assaulting, like, the character who is Gunfire. His secret identity is, like I said, the CEO of, like, a weapons company. It's sort of like the Tony Stark storyline also, where he inherits this, like, weapons company, and he works there for a little bit, and then he decides that he wants to, shut down that branch of it, and he wants to, take the weapons creations and put it into, like, technology that'll help people, and, like, sustainable energy and stuff like that. So they're transporting these, like, experimental weapons from this branch in, like, Germany or something to the location, the headquarters in America, so that it can be put away in storage and never used again. And this villain hijacks them at the airport. He's been causing havoc the whole issue, but he's been hired to steal these weapons, and he does so. He gets there, he kills the guards that are all there that are transporting it. He and his goons start loading shit up, and he finds this, like, giant big-ass gun, and he's like, "Ooh, this is beautiful." And he's, like, aiming it around. He shoots a guy with it, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, I like this thing." And it's like a mounted turret or something. And then Gunfire shows up, and he fights them for a little bit, and the guy gets on the gun, and Gunfire's like, "Well, shit, I can't defeat him now. I guess I'll grab this pipe." And he atomizes the pipe or whatever he grabs, and he blows the dude up. He shoots, like, a tank of, like, nitroglycerin or something, or the weapon itself, and he kills the guy. He atomizes him. And then the next villain, similar storyline, guy gets hired or decides to hijack this, like, train full of the company's, like, military equipment, and so, like, it's like an old Wild West, like, train assault. They take out the guards, and there's, like, patrol copters going around the train or something, and, like, they destroy those, and Gunfire flies up because, like, he has a team of his own. And by team, I mean, like, the guy in the chair and the love interest who's, like, French or something. And he lands there, and he starts fighting the guys, and he defeats some of them, and then he gets to the boss, and as he's fighting him, they've, like, detached the rest of the train that's just carrying the junk, and, like, now they only have the train parts that are the valuable stuff, and they're going to hoist it off of the track with a helicopter that they have. And so they're doing that. They're working on getting that done as Gunfire is fighting the big bad guy, the leader of it. And his friends alert him that the train's going too fast. The train is coming to a corner that is on the precipice of a cliff. And if Gunfire doesn't get out of there quickly, he's gonna die. So Gunfire is like, "Well, shit, I gotta get out of here because I don't want to die, but if I get out of here, then this jackoff is gonna steal all of these weapons and equipment, and he's gonna use them on innocent people. He's gonna sell them to, like, dictators and shit." So, fuck, I guess I gotta fight him a little bit and get real close to him. And Gunfire uses his powers and de-atomizes this living man before him. He grabs him with both hands and just starts flying. Atoms are flying off of this man's body as he's screaming in pain. And Gunfire's like, "See you around, dickhead," and leaps off the train before it flies off the cliff with the man on it as he's deatomizing, attached partially to the helicopter, and the man deatomizes completely, still screaming, and he blows up the train, blows up the weapons, and blows up the helicopter, and then it's just this fiery wreckage of death and destruction in this, like, canyon in the middle of the desert. And the next issue, Gunfire's back to like, "Oh man, I want to be a pacifist." Like, his whole conflict, his inner conflict, is how he hates violence. He's stopping this, he's no longer producing weapons for people in the military, but his power is to kill people. And he does so repeatedly. And he just, like, he's never like, maybe I should try something else. Maybe if I deatomize that, I can use this. No, he just, when push comes to shove, he's gonna deatomize a dude. And it's such a fun book. I love it so much. He's just such a weird character. He's a very complex character, as you can see. But that, oh God, if I ever get the chance to write for DC Comics in any way, I want a Gunfire series. Obviously, we're going to have to rename him, because when people Google DC Gunfire, they're not going to get the comic book character. So it's going to have to be called something else. Probably. Or, like, it's going to be like Captain Marvel and Shazam was, where, like, the book title was Shazam, the power of Shazam or whatever, and inside they called him Captain Marvel. Something like that. But, God, I just want to write a Gunfire book so much. Because, even though it's ridiculous, there's a lot you can do with this character. Just imagine, at your fingertips, you have this power to corrupt and split apart the atoms of any thing. Like I said, it's not explained how it works. It's not explained if he has to, like, focus on it, or if it's only his hands that can do it. Because, like, he wears clothes and shit, so clearly he doesn't deatomize those. But just imagine, you can do that to anything. Which raises the question, what is his sex life like? How can you have a normal relationship with anybody? How can you have an intimate relationship if you're constantly afraid of accidentally deatomizing your girlfriend while you're, like, having sex? Or even while you're just sleeping together? God almighty, can you imagine how nerve-wracking he would be? Especially if he can't control it, or, like, if it's just something that naturally happens when he touches stuff, and he has to, like, personally, like, consciously make an effort not to deatomize something. Like I said, it's never explained. It can go any way. That's what's great about it. You can write it however you want. But imagine what it would be for this poor fucking dude who's, like, he has this woman that he loves, and it's like Rogue. Like, he can't get close to her. What is gonna happen? Like, what if he deatomizes somebody he cares about? And it also brings the thought, is there a limit to his powers? Is there a limit to his possibilities? What if he deatomizes anything he touches? Like, if he touched my phone, he would deatomize the phone case, and he would deatomize the phone, he would deatomize the battery inside, he would deatomize any, like, wiring, right? When he touches a person, he deatomizes the skin, muscles, bone structure, veins, everything. So, if he, like, becomes powerful enough, if he trains enough, if there's no limit on his power, can he bury his hands in the ground and turn the Earth into a giant gun to shoot through space? Can he do that? Can he deatomize the Earth enough to blow it out of space? Or to blow the atoms out of space? Because I should mention that he can deatomize stuff. He can, like, boom, an atom, and then, like, he can put the phone back down. But if he does it too much, the stuff just falls apart. Like, it'll mostly stay together, but, like, if he really harnesses and channels the energy, that shit'll just blow up and, like, be gone forever. So, you know, what if he tries to do it on himself? What happens then? What if he touches his head in, like, an attempt to kill himself or something? What if he does that? What happens then? Does he deatomize himself? Does it work on him? There's so many possibilities with the gunfire character that I feel DC is not taking advantage of. Whoever's in charge of DC, I can't remember who it is after DiDio left. Jim Lee, come speak to me when you want to have the Gunfire series kick off. Because goddamn do I want to write that story. I want to write Gunfire. If I get one chance to write a DC book, it would probably be Jimmy Olsen, but the stuff I want to do in Jimmy Olsen definitely would not be allowed. So I want to do Gunfire. Okay, and that's all I have to say about Gunfire. He is an incredible character that I love. Moving on to the next obscure DC character. I already brought him up once. It is the Ambush Bug. The Ambush Bug was created by Keith Giffen. His name is, I can't remember it, so I had to write it down. Well, his name allegedly, we don't really know, is sort of, he's like the fucking Joker. He's like, oh, I prefer a multiple choice history. But for the most part, it seems that his name was Erwin Schwab. And Erwin Schwab was like just some schmuck living in Gotham or somewhere, some city. I had to write this all down because it's, I can't remember all this. An alien named Brum L from the planet Schwab sent his clothes into space in an attempt to save his wardrobe when his planet was dying. Well, his wardrobe collided with a giant space spider, destroyed most of it. Seemingly the spider was irradiated somehow, and only 2 of his items survived. The Ambush Bug suit, which, it's the full green bodysuit with the big red eyes and the antennae coming up, and a sentient sock named Argyle. Get it? Like Argyle, but it's like Lyle. Yeah. The best part about that sock is that he looks like Doctor Doom, and he acts like Doctor Doom, but he's a sentient sock who pilots a little spaceship. Goddamn, Ambush Bug's a fun book. This gets tossed around a lot. He's Deadpool before Deadpool. He's more in line with Deadpool than, I don't know, She-Hulk is in line with Deadpool. He's just a weird character who is sometimes a villain for Superman, and sometimes he isn't. He's an insane person. It's never really clear if the suit is what drove him insane or not, or if he was already pretty off already. You don't get a whole lot of whoever this man is before he becomes the Ambush Bug. Which I'm fine with. I like that. I never want there to be an Ambush Bug origin, unless it's like a parody book written by Keith Giffen, because I feel like he's really the only one who should be able to do that. It's just a fun, ridiculous series. He has a little like doll thing called Cheeks, and it's like a little baby doll with big cheeks, and it's dressed like a little superhero. Or no, it's not even dressed like a superhero. It's just like in a red onesie. And he occasionally dresses it up like a superhero and calls it the Toy Wonder. And it's his sidekick who, like, it's an inanimate object, but it always manages to save the day somehow. His villain, aside from Argyle, the sentient sock, is Johnny DC, who is, or was, I should say, because God knows the last time they used this fucking thing. How do I describe this? It was a mascot that DC used for a time, whose body was the DC logo, you know, like the circle and the DC, and like it was like the bullet logo maybe. And his head is like a little cartoon head, and he has little stick arms and legs. And he or she, I can't remember if it's I can't remember what the gender of this DC logo is. It is, they call themselves the Keeper of Continuity. And obviously Ambush Bug is going to fuck around a lot with that stuff. So, in the original series, like, about every issue within the first, like, 4 issues or so would end with a reveal that Darkseid was there. And every time it would be like, Johnny DC would show up and be like, Ambush Bug, fuck off, knock it off. That's not Darkseid. And Ambush Bug's, I don't know what you're talking about, Johnny DC. And then, like, the camera cuts to the Darkseid, like, sitting in a chair waiting for Ambush Bug. And he deflates because it's like a balloon or something. You know, it's that kind of gag. It's like, oh, what's he going to be this time? But Johnny DC was, like, the threat to Ambush Bug, who Johnny DC begrudgingly had to deal with him. The same way Superman often does. Because for some reason, Ambush Bug's a big Superman villain. I can think of 2 instances where he deals with Superman, or where Superman has to deal with him, I should say. And both times, Superman just is so annoyed and so pissed. One is when Ambush Bug sneaks into Superman's Fortress of Solitude while Superman's there, fucks around with some stuff, he gets caught, and they accidentally switch bodies for like 24 hours. So when they get their bodies swapped, Ambush Bug, being caught by Superman, was put in like the Fortress Brig or whatever. And Superman's just walking around his Fortress of Solitude. So now Ambush Bug has free reign to do whatever he wants as Superman, and Clark Kent is stuck in Ambush Bug's gross body in a prison cell. And he's like, oh my god, it's going to take us 24 hours. Oh my god, it's going to take 24 hours. Ambush Bug, so help me God if you do anything. And as soon as he says that, Ambush Bug's already gone. He's like, whoa, this is great. I'm going to be a superhero. Oh, look at me now, Mom. You know, stuff like that. And he's like trying to save people, and he keeps like fucking up and like tripping over himself. And just like, you know, he kind of saves the day. No one dies or gets hurt. Maybe some property damage here and there. But that's mostly what happens in that issue. Another one is where Ambush Bug is like fucking around with his like little teleporting bugs that he can use. And he's pissing off Superman because he did something illegal. I don't know. There's a lot of implications to that. But it was nothing bad or anything. It's just some dumb Ambush Bug thing. And Superman, he's like, God, Ambush Bug, I hate you so much. Why do you have to bug me so much? And he imprisons Ambush Bug, and Ambush Bug somehow gets sent to the future with Superman. Oh no, that's what it is. Ambush Bug's like fucking with like time or something, and so Superman stops him, something along those lines. And he's like, God damn it, Ambush Bug, I have to hold you here with me, but now I have to go to the 31st century to fucking deal with something with the Legion of Superheroes. So I guess you're coming with me. It's like when a cop arrests somebody and puts them in the back of their car and then immediately has to drive someplace else to deal with like a dispute or a robbery or something. He's like, just wait in the back. I'll take you to the precinct. So he goes there, and they're like, Superman, thank you for adhering to our call for help. And Superman's like, yeah, I'll deal with that. Do you have a place to keep Ambush Bug? And the Legion of Superheroes, I should point out, are not there. Superman has to deal with the Legion of Substitute Heroes, who are not good. And they're like, oh, yeah, we can hold Ambush Bug, that's fine. And so they put him in an aquarium. An empty aquarium that he easily escapes. So Ambush Bug is just on the loose in the 31st century, just messing around and causing havoc and fucking shit up. And it's like up to the shitty knockoff superheroes to, stop him and catch him before Superman comes back. So, that's the sort of stuff Ambush Bug does. He's a parody character. As you can see, he breaks the fourth wall. He does it a lot. If for some reason he's recently been in Suicide Squad, I don't know why. He's a fun character. Definitely check him out. And he is one of my favorite obscure DC characters. That's how I'm going to end all these little Cliff Note things that I have. On to the next character. Don't worry, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4. There are only 4 left. Prez Rickard. No, I did not mispronounce anything in that sentence. Prez Rickard is from the short-lived comic series called Prez, which was created by Joe Simon and Jerry Grandinetti, which takes place in a world where teenagers can be elected to public office. The story involves Prez fixing a clock. For some reason, it's just such a weird world they live in. He lives in this little village in America, and he's one day he decides to fix all the clocks in his town because all the clocks are wrong in his town for some reason. And he's hailed as a hero, and this mob boss from the big city next door called Boss Smiley. That's right, Boss Smiley. He wants to use Prez's goodwill and public opinion to his own gains. So he's like, hey kid, you should run for office. And then that way, Prez Smiley Boss Smiley would have somebody on the inside. Boss Smiley is a large man with a smiley face for a head. And Prez, I should point out, that is his legal name. Prez Rickard. Prez Rickard. Rickard. So, Prez starts campaigning for president. And when he finds out that Boss Smiley is bad or whatever and he's doing, he goes out on his own and he teams up with a Native American character called Eagle Free. He becomes best friends with Eagle because they have an adventure out in the woods and they stop it from getting demolished, and Eagle's like, thank you for helping me. Is there anything I can do to help? And Prez is like, you can be my vice president. Or no, is that what he does? No. You can be my campaign manager or something. You can be my running mate, even though you won't be the vice president. So they team up, they work together, they become best friends. And they campaign, and he is elected president. He is like a 18-year-old president. His mother is the vice president. Eagle Free is the director of the FBI. And he lives in a teepee along the Potomac River. And after that, Prez, he fights a Dracula. He fights Dracula or some vampire with no legs who rolls around on a little wooden skateboard, and werewolves from Transylvania. Yeah. That's where that book goes. The first 2 issues are him becoming president. I think it's 4 issues, so the last 2 issues are Transylvania getting upset at America's foreign policy and sending in a vampire assassin to kill President Rickard. There's also a right-wing militia that's led by the great descendant of George Washington that he has to deal with, but they aren't as interesting as goddamn Dracula, vampires, and werewolves attacking the teen president. It's another book that was cut way too short. And he's been brought back here and there. I think in 2016 or 2015, somewhere around that president campaign, or that election, they brought Prez back, but it was a teenage girl who did it through social media or something. I didn't give a shit, so I never read it. But yeah, definitely go check it out. Again, it's by Joe Simon. Joe Simon, the co-creator of Fighting American and a lesser-known character, Captain America. So it's that same hokiness. It's that same silly logic and like sort of funny, humorous books that sort of aim more towards children a bit. But there's still some good stuff in there. I recommend it. Go check those out. Like I said, it's only about 4 issues, so it's not a whole lot of reading. I can't remember what else Rickard's been in. In Dark Knight Strikes Again, the president is based off of him, or it's like named after him. He might have appeared in like some like Neil Gaiman thing, I think, like a Sandman thing. I don't know, but yeah, it's just a fun series, and that is why Perez Rickard is one of my favorite obscure DC characters. Moving on to a short one here, because I feel like he's been talked about enough, and he's not really that obscure, is Flex Mentallo. Flex Mentallo. Grant Morrison creation from their Doom Patrol run. Flex Mentallo is the muscly mystery fighter of the beach, or whatever his title is. He's Atlas bodybuilder parody. But I just love him because his series, the like 4 or 5 or 6, however long his like mini series was, it is Grant Morrison's. It's basically Grant Morrison's autobiography, and their commentary on comic books. And I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't had read. I actually have it right here. If I had not had read Super Gods by Grant Morrison. This might be my favorite book I've ever read. It is amazing. Go read that. It's like part history of comics, part autobiography by Grant Morrison. Just incredible stuff. But a lot of the things that are applied to the Wally Wood-esque character in the Flex Mentallo book are taken directly from Grant Morrison's life. There's a bit that comes to mind where I think it's I can't remember. It's like something like Wally Sage or something like that is the character's name. He's a young boy, and like his dad's a anti-nuclear, anti-war protester, and the young Wally sees like little handmade comics and like pamphlets that feature like, this is what happens when you use nuclear weapons and ban nuclear, stuff like that. And it's like drawings and illustrations of like burnt husks and irradiated wastelands of nothing but death, and there's like crossbones everywhere. That's a real story that Grant Morrison speaks about in their Super Gods book. And it's just such a fantastic little series. I prefer the original coloring, that like zany coloring that they did. I know apparently Frank Quitely did not, because he had it recolored when they did the re-release, and it just became too drab. I didn't like it. I felt it didn't suit the story, but apparently they did, so whatever. And that's why Flex Mentallo is my favorite, or one of my favorite obscure DC characters, even though he's not that obscure. Next, we get to Kamandi. Jack Kirby, created by completely. He wrote it, he illustrated it, he edited it, at least for like the first 31 issues, 33 issues, I can't remember. It's a Planet of the Apes knockoff. DC wanted to do a Planet of the Apes book as like a licensed thing. They couldn't get the rights to it, so they were like, hey, we got Jack fucking Kirby. Hey, Jack, you want to make a sort of Planet of the Apes knockoff book? And Jack, who had apparently not seen the movie but was familiar with the concept, was like, oh yeah, sure, I know that. It's apes are men, and the animals are men, and a bunch of animals are men, and humans are like cave people, right? They live in bunkers. And the DC executives were like, yeah, whatever, Jack, see you Monday. And so he created just, oh God, the creativity in this book. Don't pause this video, keep listening. But go and Google Kamandi map, or like Kamandi Jack Kirby map, and you'll see the map of the world that he created. And it's like, I don't know if there was ever like a bigger version of it, but the one I always think of is like North America and a bit of South America. And like the East Coast is like the Tiger Kingdom's territory. Canada is like the irradiated wastes, the red wastes or something like that. There's like a human refugee or human reservation in like the Southwest and Mexico. In the ocean, it's like pod of with something to do with killer whales and orcas. It's like the walking orcas camp or something like that. It's just insane stuff. There's the lions who are like Roman inspired. Bears are like Soviets, obviously. There's a bulldog captain who's like leads a vicious bulldog cavalry unit in the war between like all these kingdoms. And stuck in the middle of it is a young boy who is ripped and has long blonde hair named Kamandi. And he is a very fun character. He escapes this like base, which he was named after, because the thing about Kamandi is that it's not a post-apocalyptic story. It's a post-apocalyptic story. There have been 2 apocalypse-level events that happen in this book prior to it happening. And he is named after the vault that he was born in, called Command D. And they're like, oh, that's a nice name. So they call him Kamandi. And he escapes, and he's like the remaining survivor of his home. And he sets out to find any resemblances of humanity. And when he thinks he does find it, he finds these 3 men called Ben Boxer, and I can't remember the other guys' names. But they are revealed to be cyborgs controlled by this hideous little like fetus mutant guy who like is like searching the wastes for any way to bring the world back or something like that, or take it under his control. It's been a while since I've read it. I need to reread them, especially now that I've collected in completion all 30-something issues that were written and illustrated by Jack Kirby. His writing on the series does continue a little bit past there, but he doesn't do the art, so I didn't think it was that important. I didn't want to get it, essentially. I figured where it stops at, where he stops the art, is a pretty fine stopping point for the series, but it did keep going for quite a time. I've never read past there, though. But yeah, it's just his adventures. It's an episodic, for the most part, series. It's Kamandi's adventures. He fights like a giant, he befriends a giant grasshopper that he rides. He is captured by, I can't remember what animal they are, but they ride quads, and it might be tigers. The tigers are like the peacekeepers, and they are the people who are it's like on like an animal reservation in like Africa, where they have like guards like taking control and, you know, watching for poachers for like elephants and rhinos and stuff. That's what the tigers do for the human reservation, is that they control it, and they're like, oh shit, there's they chase after some poachers who are like cougars or something, or crocodiles or whatever. They defeat them. Kamandi accidentally comes across it, and they're like, oh shit, there's one of those poor humans that those assholes abducted. Get him so we can take him back to his kind. And like, the human reservation, it's fairly destroyed, because this is after 2 apocalyptic events. But like, it's still like an area where it's like, they're situated in like the suburbs, kind of like it's ruins of suburbs that these like animalistic humans are like living in, and Kamandi like befriends and eventually falls in love with this human woman. Can't remember her name. This happens like once, or no, actually I think this is the same character. I don't know, there might be another love interest, I can't remember. Like I said, it's been a while since I've read it. I'm just going all of this off of memory. But it is such a fantastic book. So much happens. He befriends a dog scientist who, oh my god, it's ridiculous. I don't even know how to explain it. He befriends a dog scientist who wants to do something. I can't remember what. But then they both come across this alien entity that takes the form of a woman, and it's kind of like the Phoenix Force or something personified, and so they have to deal with that, and they're like, no, stop destroying stuff. And like the alien is like, oh, I've learned my humanity or whatever, and like flies off into space or something. And there's like, Kamandi gets trapped between a war between so many different animals. There's a giant snake that is involved in a slave trade of humans. It is just there's so much crazy stuff happening in this book. It is one of, if not my favorite DC comic book. I love Jack Kirby's original solely created Kamandi. He didn't do the inking or the coloring, but he might have. No, I don't think he did the inking. I can't remember. It might have been Mike Royer, but it is definitely tied with first place for my favorite DC comic. And that's why it is one of my... Kamandi is one of, if not the favorite of my obscure DC characters. The other comic that is tied for first is another fairly obscure comic that also involved Jack Kirby. And that is Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen. Now, we're almost at 2 hours, so I won't talk about this one very long, just because there's so much to talk about, because every issue is something new, wacky adventure Jimmy goes on, and there's at least 2 stories in each book. But Jimmy Olsen, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, is, to me, the epitome of the Silver Age. It's Jimmy turning into a turtle man. It's Jimmy becoming like a werewolf. Jimmy gets superpowers. Jimmy does this. Jimmy does that. He has a fan club that he hangs out with and solves crimes with sometimes. Occasionally he'll have to call in Superman, but more often than not, the stories are based around the premise of Superman's off in space. I can't bother him because he's stopping some galactic genocide from happening, so I'll have to solve this myself. But my favorite Jimmy Olsen story, I can't remember the exact title, but I discovered it in Grant Morrison's Super Gods. And that is an issue of Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, where Jimmy is attempting to take down a crime boss. Can't remember the dude's name. And the way he does so is by going undercover and infiltrating their inner circle. You know, that sounds pretty basic. There's not much going on there. Why is that? Why is that my favorite comic? It's because Jimmy Olsen, it's revealed, dresses in drag. At least for this story. But he is full on drag. The cover of that story is Jimmy Olsen dressed completely like a woman. So much so that he makes these 2 men who are looking at him believe that he's an actual, woman and not a man cross-dressing. And they're like, damn, check out the legs on her. She's a smoke show. Something like that. And then the caption box is like, oh, but would these men really say that if they knew that Mrs. Olsen was actually Jimmy Olsen, Ace Cub reporter? And it seems like this isn't the first time he's done it. Sorry, I'm taking my socks off because it's really hot in here. It's starting to get really hot where I live, so you'll probably see myself, fanning myself or moving around a lot just because it's getting stuffy. It seems like this isn't the first time he's done it. Jimmy, throughout his original Superman's pal, before Jack Kirby took over, he had a chest of disguises, like a disguise kit. And he would use it quite often. He would go into disguise a lot. But he would only really use those disguises when the time came. If he had like a big scar to put on his face and like a fake beard or something, he would only really put that on when he was, in character and acting, before other people, when he had to not be recognized as ace cub reporter Jimmy Olsen. In this story, Jimmy Olsen is just like sort of hanging around in his apartment in like women's undergarments. Like he has, I'm adding this in my own mind, but it's something along the lines of like those big poofy like undergarment pants that women used to wear, and like pantyhose and a bra, and he also just like he has the lipstick still applied and he's ironing his dress. Like, clearly this isn't something that he does only for the job. Clearly Jimmy Olsen is just into cross-dressing, which I love that. That is one of my favorite things that I've decided Jimmy Olsen does. And that is what I meant earlier by when I said, if I ever get to write for DC Comics, I doubt they would let me do it. Because I've had this story in my mind for years since I read that. And here it is right now. Here's my pitch, DC. It's a Superman's... I'll give away part of the pitch. Because I don't want to give away too much. Because I'm so smart. The pitch is that there is somebody who Jimmy has wronged, or I don't know, something along those lines. So they're trying to get back at him. They're trying to get revenge. They're trying to ruin his life. I don't know. It's like Kingpin and Daredevil or whatever. And they discover that, like, on a Friday night or something, Jimmy goes home from the Daily Planet. They stake out his house. And then down comes a beautiful red-headed woman and leaves from his house. And they follow him, and it goes to like a club or a bar, and there's like a drag show going on or something. Or like Jimmy just enjoys dressing in drag, and he does it on his off time. It's just his hobby. It's who he is. It's how he expresses himself. It's what he enjoys doing. And these guys who are trying to ruin his life, they take pictures of him, they film him, they blackmail him, they try to blackmail him with it. And Jimmy, they catch they sneak behind the stage. I don't know if it's like a drag show or something. They sneak behind the stage and they like snap a picture of him when he like has his wig off and he's like, I don't know, taking a break or something, drinking some water or whatever. And they go to him and they're like, we're going to fucking share this to all the goddamn news sites fucking in Metropolis. And there's nothing I want. Or like, I don't know, there is something he wants, whatever the crux, the MacGuffin would be. Or there's nothing that this criminal wants. He just wants to ruin Jimmy's life. So he doesn't even tell Jimmy that he's going to do it. And so Jimmy goes home, and then the next news day, he goes into work, and everybody's looking at him weird. Because they found a paper from the Daily Sun, the Metropolis Sun newspaper, whose headline article is like, Daily Bugle ace cub reporter Jimmy Olsen cross-dressing or something, some shit like that. Some like headline that catches people's attention. So like it's kind of problematic too. It's like, I don't know, something along those lines. And so Jimmy Olsen has to face being outed as a crossdresser, but it doesn't come off as like he's enraged by this or he's upset that this secret is out. It's just like he accepts that that's who he is, and he's like, fuck you if you don't accept it. That's who I am. Fine. Yeah. I didn't want to tell anybody because I figured it would be weird, and I figured nobody would look at me the same way, and they'd be like, they make weird jokes and stuff. But this is who I am. That's what I like to do. I feel comfortable wearing women's clothes. And, it's fun. I get to dress up and be pretty. You know how many compliments I get dressed as a woman? A lot. You know how many compliments I get from when I'm just a Jimmy Olsen? Not that many, and if I do, they're from Lucy Lane, who was Lois Lane's like sister or cousin, who is like the romantic interest of Jimmy Olsen in a lot of those books. And like, I don't know, people are like coming to Lucy and they're like, did you know your husband's a crossdresser? Did you know your boyfriend's a crossdresser? And she's like, yes, I know. Fucking, I don't care. It's okay. And I want to write a story about that. I am just, I don't know, I'm infatuated by cross-dressing and the idea of it. Not actually doing it, I don't think, but it's just such an interesting way for people to convey who they really are, that I just love that facet of, like, you know, humanity, and that's what people like to do. Is that guy likes to dress like a woman? Who cares? That is just such a fantastic, creative way to express yourself. And that is what I would do if I worked at DC Comics and I could write whatever I wanted. I would write that story about Jimmy Olsen being a crossdresser, and, you know, it would be like a 2 or 3 issues arc of Jimmy Olsen being a crossdresser, and then, I don't know, it wouldn't be really brought up again, or maybe it will. And that would be part of a longer storyline that's sort of an X-Files alien invasion uncovery. That's a whole other story. I haven't really read a whole lot of Jack Kirby's Jimmy Olsen. I know that's where, like, his Fourth World and everything starts. I don't know. I love Jack Kirby. I love his artwork. I love all of his work. I just was never interested in his Jimmy Olsen, because my Jimmy Olsen is the one I just told you. It's the weird Jimmy Olsen, the guy who goes on zany adventures. The crossdresser Jimmy Olsen. The Jimmy Olsen who is the president of his own fan club and, like, hangs out with these guys who are, like, younger than him, and, like, he sort of treats them like his younger brothers because, like, they're like, oh man, Jimmy's coming by, everybody get ready and make that clubhouse look spick and span. That's my Jimmy Olsen. That's who I feel Jimmy Olsen is. Jack Kirby's Jimmy Olsen, it's too much of an adventure, I guess. It's too action-y, is what I'm getting at. But it's still great. It's, from the few issues I've read of his, it's really fun. The Newsboy Legion, those are great characters. They sort of take the place of Jimmy's fan club. Hell, you can even make it that the Newsboy Legion is a part of the Jimmy fan club if you wanted to. But just the weirdness and the ridiculousness and the craziness and the funny humorousness of the original Jimmy Olsen, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, is why Jimmy Olsen of that era is one of my, if not the favorite DC obscure characters, and my favorite DC comic. And there you have it. Oh my god, this is a long fucking episode. This is almost 2 hours. It's basically 2 hours. God almighty. Thanks for watching, I guess. Thanks for listening. Let me know what any thoughts you had about this episode in the comments below. As always, where's the book? This is brought to you by Destructo Boy. The Era of Alpha Cardinal, Part 1 of 2. I keep saying it. I'm still waiting on the printers to get it printed up. But, again, it is complete. All the pages are done of the first issue, the second issue. I'm still working halfway through the third issue, but I'll have that done by the time, it gets around to it, whatever this release schedule is for these books. All done, all completely, back and forth, page to front to back. It's going to be $9.99, probably plus shipping and handling. So stay tuned for that, because I will be advertising the shit out of it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my ramblings. Thank you guys for all the support on the podcast. I really appreciate it. I love seeing everybody's comments and your thoughts. Let me know what you thought of in the comments below. As always, follow me on Instagram at NotBlakeWild and at smokey'svideos. Again, you can find me on YouTube if you are listening to this and you made it this far. You can find me on YouTube at smokey'svideos. I make comic book based content. Yeah, that's about it. Hope you all have a nice day. I'll see you next time. Bye.